Welcome to the Fear Fiction Podcast. Fearfic is the term for short horror fiction, mostly posted on the web. It includes any and all related subgenres. Join three assholes talking basement goo Slimebeast, inebriated interstellar traveler Abysmii, and irritable ghostly man-horde Dead Palette, as they read all stories horror and internet-related, paragraph by paragraph, and bullshit while they do it. From adolescent revenge fantasies to subtle postmodern narratives about real-life events and everything in between, they read it and critique. You better believe it. Kick it to the cold open, white boy.
My creepypasta opinion, just so both of you know, this is
yours?
No, this isn't mine. This is something that was posted that I take exception to.
Where was this posted?
The Creepypasta subreddit.
Oh. What's the URL of that website?
Reddit.com/r/creepypasta.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
No
connection.
How would you describe the leadership of that subreddit in only positive terms?
A bunch of handsome fuckers who have never done anything wrong or had a wrong opinion in their entire life.
That's
so
right.
I just found this new CSGO lotto site. It's crazy, guys.
We are
farmers.
Two of us are mods. The other one is a mod in name only, a Mino, if you will.
Yeah, right.
And I would say we're pretty fair mods who really do not step in very often and are quite.
I'm an extremely fair mod who never.
You don't do anything.
For anybody wondering, Dead Palette's account got hacked. The Creepypasta subreddit was turned into a Trump subreddit. We got that all fixed.
No,
DP...
it wasn't just a Trump Reddit. It was a Japanese nationalist Nazi Trump Reddit.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen happen to something I'm directly involved with. Because it wasn't just ours. It was like a bunch of different subreddits got hit.
It was like 200 popular subreddits.
Yeah, DP had to do like 199 other ones to cover it up. Yeah,
only the good ones got hit.
So that happened.
Only the dopest.
That happened. DP was on probation for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I went ahead, took DP off probation, gave him his powers back, and now he can't get into his account.
I have the authenticator, and it's like, the authenticator is on a broke-ass phone, and because my PC decided to log me out, I am super doing no modding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you go and vandalize r/creepypasta, these two are going to have to deal with it.
As usual.
DP and his Japanese Trump predilections.
He's been on Japanese Twitter too long. This is what happens.
Yep.
So this is titled My Creepypasta Opinion, and I usually don't read most of because there's just too many.
He just doesn't read.
I don't read ever. I don't have a podcast or 5 dedicated to it.
I can't believe he passed the bar.
Shocking. But I usually just read through whatever's submitted to the mod queue. But I saw this and was like, okay, someone wants to get their opinion on Creepypasta. I love how cute you people are. Making your own creepypasta OCs and whatever. But I kind of want to make this clear. To anyone who is stupid as I am, you would search up on what creepypasta means, right? And I did. And I say this in quote. Creepypastas are horror-related legends that have been copied and pasted around the internet. These internet entries are often brief, user-generated, paranormal stories intended to scare readers. They include gruesome tales of murder, suicide, and otherworldly occurrences. End quote. And so, you need a background/story for your character. You'd have to go viral for your character to be, popular and up there. In conclusion, creepypastas aren't just made-up characters about people and how sad their life is. They're made up to scare you. Real/popular creepypastas go into depth, detail, how they look, weapons, and connected stories between other pastas. I'm not done.
I was keeping it together until you said details, weapon.
Parentheses. This is my opinion. It doesn't mean you should stop your ideas. I just think it's weird, but you do you. Second parentheses. Sorry if I hurt your feelings. Suke.
So, I'm with this person on certain points, and I depart from them on others.
I just, and I said this in response. All I said was, 2 things. Number one, I can't tell if you're intending to be insulting or not, but it just very much is. And number 2, creepypasta has evolved as a definition many times over the past years, like even as recent as 5 years ago.
But I think that he has. I don't know why I'm assuming gender. This person has a weird way of trying to parse the history of creepypasta, but no, I can't fault anyone for not understanding what creepypasta is, because what the fuck is creepypasta? It's just such a the term is such a vestige of a different time that how do you even deal with that?
And they're not wrong. But also, it's like creepypastas are horror-related legends. Almost like if you're going to do... It's almost as if they're saying if you're going to do an OC, it has to be, if it's not Jeff the Killer, then it's not a creepypasta, which is just misguided in and of itself. But that first sentence, I love how cute you people are, making your own creepypasta OCs and whatever.
He sounds like an OC.
No, like, how is that not the most condescending way to render your opinion on something and be like, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Are you?
Did I destroy you, Snowflake? No, I would say that is... They are observing phenomenons and just trying to figure out what is what. But because creepypasta describes 3, 4, maybe 5 things that are very different from each other, I can't be angry. And we discuss these things and we parse them and say, like, hey, this is like, dealing with real life trauma and the horror is mankind all along. And it's ash can horror. Boom, that's that thing. And then there's your OC shit and there's that. So I can't be mad at their confusion.
It's a thing where is Slenderman creepypasta? No. Is, this, that, and the other thing, are these random things, are they creepypasta? No. But to hold it to that standard of all these things that aren't technically creepypasta shouldn't be allowed, or they aren't really part of it, blah, blah, blah. That sort of is like, I guess creepypasta is the modern day version of gay means happy. Like, where people say gay actually means happy. It's like
but not
anymore.
Yeah, no.
It can mean that, sure, but now it means other things too.
Yeah.
Creepypasta means that, but also now it means other things too. This is the way it went.
It's always been messy too, because like, is Slenderman creepypasta?
Not originally.
Not originally, but like he had creepypastas written about him.
Yeah.
And then there's like Marble Hornets, and I would definitely say Marble Hornets is in like that, YouTube creepypasta world. Like it just gets weird because like.
Well, and if
Slenderman is treated different ways, so
yeah, and if you have a movie by a major company, Sony, that comes out and the synopsis is based off of the internet creepypasta Slenderman, well, it's like Hillary Clinton doing a dab. It's changed things. We can't go back.
Like tobacco, like doing a dab.
That too.
Yeah.
But like at that point, it's kind of out of the original creator's hands. Like, it's gone. Whatever. Move on.
I think that Hillary Clinton should stick doing things that she's good at, like having people assassinated. Can we
is that even a hot take anymore?
No. Is it?
No.
Are we going to act like it's not? Anyway, so no, I can empathize with this young person, and that's kind of the problem. I think the people who were at the forefront of doing creepypasta related things, that being YouTube narrators, that like people who have a say, who have a microphone, didn't understand what it is that they were dealing with, and so at no point was there any sort of like guiding hand. And as moderators, we try and cast a wide net, like we said, and be lenient and just be like, hey, whatever's open. But if we could have steered things earlier, then we would avoid this confusion.
I think that there is, and this is, what kind of cold open is this? We're being serious. Thanks a lot, Abysmii.
Welcome back to the hyper-realist.
French fucker. Here's the thing. Creepypasta became closely associated with icons, aka icon pasta. Jeff the Killer, Clockwork, Slenderman, Ben from Ben Drowned, Tiki Toby, Hoodie, Masky, all these different things. Icon characters. What else has icon characters? Comic books.
Yeah.
Comic books have icon characters, iconic, lead characters, iconic villains. Villains you like. People like the Joker. He's a terrible person. People like Jeff the Killer. He's a terrible person. You can see the growth of creepypasta moving inverse to the death of comics in traditional format. And it sort of is like, these characters are sort of like the modern day comic book characters. They're, maybe it's not anymore as creepypasta has sort of died off, but, you look at the YouTubers, the narrators, they want to be superheroes. They've got characters that are like muscle bound or mysterious men of mystery. Mysterious Men of Mystery is my favorite comic, by the way.
They want to be respected by children.
Yeah.
Or look at my take on the Crypt Keeper. It's so clever and interesting.
Do they even have? Are there any popular YouTube narrators who have an ugly or horror character? Are they all like DC villains?
Some of them started out as that, but they've definitely all, because along with the YouTube landscape, it really has to be you're selling your personality. So they have all slowly morphed into, well, actually, I'm down to earth and real and cool and hip.
Right.
And they're all slowly morphing into relatable, marketable avatars.
And
sure.
So many of them involve masks, like superhero characters.
Yeah, for sure. The anime influence is definitely rife.
So that's my thing. I think creepypasta has been a band-aid that, won't be forever, obviously.
I think you mean abandoned?
Oh
my god.
God damn it. Creepypasta has been a bridge between comic books and whatever comes next. Anyway, go ahead.
The same thing is true. I think that there has been a decline in shonen anime, so like the action-oriented anime. There has been less of an interest in that over the years in favor of more things like slice of life shows and izakaya and fucking whatever else, just like magical girl stuff. The traditional, like, I am anime protagonist Goku type character has also been on the decline. Mm-hmm. So I do think, again, that this is filling in that, and a lot of the manga that people seem to be interested in. And I know that like social media kind of filters to you what you want to see, but like it seems like people just like the old shonen anime a lot more than the new stuff.
Oh, the new stuff there's just so much of it. It's like trying to find something good on Netflix. There's just it's a paralysis of choice. And it's all watered down.
Not really on shonen anime. Not really. I mean, I think
at least from
everyone likes My Hero Academia, and that's it.
Here go the anime nerds.
Here we go.
Fucking and Japan.
If we want to like cap this off, because I know this could go on forever, and we've talked a lot of this to death. If you want to get a sense of what we think would be a curated, narrowly construed, what creepypasta is at its ideal and its apex, go look at our Creepypasta narration channel, mm-hmm. where we put a lot of work into finally curating and making as much of it as original as possible. If you want to see narrations there.
Quantity is not as good as quality, so you won't see an update every day. You won't see 2 stories a day. But you'll see, hopefully, nice videos that are well produced, and,
Yeah.
Without...
it's all done in our spare time, which we all have, jobs and shit, so,
And that's youtube.com/creepypasta. Okay, good.
I'm a stock trader, okay? I sold an entire stock today.
Ooh.
I sell people like you every day!
No, but if you also look at youtube.com/creepypasta, you will see that we're trying to take a vertical slice of what can be considered creepypasta, all the way from certain things that are almost, cartoony and troll pasta-y, all the way to the other end of the spectrum of like ashcan horror, of down to earth realistic stuff, and everything in between. And it's never been like a clear, this is creepypasta or this isn't.
This is creepypasta.
It's always been kind of a murky thing, because you've had stories that's like weird fiction kind of thing, like speculative fiction, and then you've also had just like, and then the killer was behind me, and then it's just like, oh, this is happening to you, second person kind of stories and ritual stories. All of that stuff was there from the very beginning. So like, it's hard to say that, this is or this isn't.
So we're all in agreement that icon pastas are just comic book superheroes for a post 9/11 generation. Okay. So
and that we should gatekeep children.
Yes. Wait. What?
You're not
How do you mean that?
We should keep children behind gates. Yes.
Are they? Yeah. It depends on which side of the gate.
No. They're not cages. Okay, listen. These are just child creepypasta detainment centers.
Damn it.
I know only Slimebeast and I watch Oni plays, but I can't get over Zach's impression of Trump when they're playing Croc. I was playing Croc and I saw a bunch of animals in cages and I thought to myself, that's not so bad.
I do like the idea of the Slenderchild detainment center instead of the Slender Mansion.
God damn it. That's so
Listen, these wayward teens getting separated, we're just putting them in cages temporarily to make sure they don't get stabbed.
God damn it.
Jesus Christ. Oh.
Alright, now it's a cold open.
Now it's a cold open.
Oh, how are we reading today?
Cyberwar 2025.
Who wrote this?
Yeah. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good lord. Dirkbruere?
Oh, good lord.
Dick.
The first
I'm a
part
business
is
like dick.
the first part is Dirk. And Dirk is a small knife.
The writer of this story is just a big old dick. That's Abysmii.
Small dick. He's just a small dick.
The writer of this story has a small dick. Let's be honest. It's very clear. Unlike me, I have a very not that I would ever say the word, but I do.
Why is your Ben Shapiro impression is fucking wild, bud.
I know. I'm not good at impressions, so
I don't know. Your Ralph is. I like your Ralph. It's not like it doesn't sound like him, but it is a cool character. I like that voice.
Well, and Rolf, like to do Rolf, there's a lot of projection, so to be like sitting down and to just kind of pop that off would not work. Same with all the Ed and Eddie characters. Like, you have to stand up and project to get that right, so you can't just do it sitting down.
By the way, To Do Rolf is actually the name of the comic Rebecca Sugar drew.
I was thinking about that. Dem's kids. That's not cool.
Yeah.
To make porn out of.
Well,
I would not do that, and I grew up with Ed and Eddie. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, Cyberwar 2025.
Who wrote it?
You go ahead.
What did you do in the Great Cyberwar, Daddy? Oh, well, what could I say? The answer is pretty much what everyone else did, which is try and survive. In other words, nothing. The first we all knew about it was the electricity went off and did not come back on again.
Oh.
Then the other utilities, water, gas, and phones.
That would have been electricity, but okay.
That would have been, yeah, well, maybe they had cell phones.
I like the idea of
electricity, but all right.
I like there's electricity stored into the cellular device for a time.
Yes, but all of the service would be down, so they'd be bricks essentially.
Good point.
I like the idea of they just had water-powered phones, so when the water went out, the phones went out, not the electricity.
Steampunk phones.
Steampunk phones.
Gotta crank the phone.
You put it up to your ear. Ah, God!
Ah, damn it! Again!
Then the net itself went down, and everyone...
This is 911. How can I direct your call, or what's your emergency? What?
What?
Ow!
So net is capitalized. So is this like different than the internet, or is this the internet?
I think it's referencing the internet.
Okay. Then the net itself went down, and everyone was in the dark, both literally and figuratively. All of that within the space of a few hours.
Wait a minute. If the electricity went off and the phones went off, how do you know the net then went down? You wouldn't be able to see it ever.
Yeah, no,
anyway.
that's what I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, you can make the assumption, good point.
No.
Good point, yeah. I don't know.
For some, it happened overnight, and they awoke to a broken world. Most cars still ran for a while, although GPS was also out. Self-driving cars didn't. When the fuel ran out of the gas stations were not pumping, no electricity. The supermarket, along with everyone else, could not buy or sell. The payment systems were offline. Within 24 hours, looting broke out on a global scale from the richest nations to the poorest, and martial law became the new norm.
Very common setting for like post-apocalypse sci-fi setting. Very old one, actually, for, what if electricity gone?
Well, here's the thing. In Texas, there was actually a thing where, like, the power went out. People were at the supermarket.
No.
Lies.
That's lies. No.
What?
It's all fake.
Conspiracy
fake
theory.
Okay, I'm unaware of that, but okay.
Ted Cruz says it's fake news.
Okay.
Yeah. Ted Cruz was in Cancun when it was happening, and he was super warm, so, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz says it's fake news. He's in Cancun. He'll be back soon. Like, what the fuck? Dr. Seuss is working for them now. Again.
Like, it's Texas. Texas doesn't get cold. That's bullshit.
No.
Bullshit.
No.
So anyway, when the power went out and the supermarkets,
Somewhere other than Texas,
fucking
yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The supermarkets had no power and people were shopping, so they'd let everybody just take what they were ordering or what they were buying. They let them take it free because they were in an emergency scenario. And plus, the food, the frozen food especially would go bad, produce would go bad, so they let people just take it. So, to me, I feel like when you read these post-apocalyptic stories, and it's like, oh, the supermarket's closed and everybody was starving, I'm like, no, they just would be like, here's the food. You know what I mean?
Well, within this time scale, there's not going to be a giant breakdown. Like, it's still going to fucking suck, but it's not going to be like martial law
right.
in 24 hours.
When you see looting related to a disaster, like a natural disaster, when you see the looting, that's after the storm is gone, things are all closed and everything's still shut down, and people then, need things or, want things or whatever. It's never a thing where this thing just happened, so now nobody can have food. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's starved now, purposefully.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just that there's nobody running the stores, when they get broken into and shit.
I would assume that if it's like something other than a grocery store, though, you would just shut and lock the doors and hope for the best.
Right.
And it would probably just pass if it's like 24 hours.
If it's 24 hours, yeah, definitely.
I mean, maybe I'm reading it wrong, but from the story, it's like the supermarkets couldn't sell anything, and then there was looting. It's like, no.
No, which, that is probably a shortcoming of the author's lack of research. But this is all, again, a very tried and true tropey. What if the electricity was gone and, oh no, we couldn't use phones, we couldn't use cash registers because everything's electronic? Yes, but no, but is it worth it to get so much into the murky detail? Whatever.
The phones went down, and immediately I was not able to
count money.
I was not able to fuck random people on Tinder, so I just went out and started raping people.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just went out and started humping Post
Malone.
I walked to Glendale and was like, where are you?
Fuck.
It's time, you promised me.
You're my sunflower. I think you love me too much.
God.
You can't hide me from all those flower pickers. Yeah, you fucking flower pickers.
Anyway.
It's me now, right?
Yeah.
Nobody died directly in the first cyber strikes. Sorry, cyber stikes?
Cyber stikes.
Transformers, cyber stikes.
Abysmii getting canceled again. Sick of all these cyber stikes. Jesus.
Oh, that's an unfortunate typo. However, as days turned to weeks and looting became rioting and in many places turned into civil war, the casualties headed into the millions as governments struggled to organize the necessities of life. In much of the world, disease and mass starvation added to the deaths.
So there was a disaster that within weeks turned to civil war?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, again, this is the problem of doing a story based on, technology's gone. Like, I don't know, solar flare, boom, all digital devices are just rendered completely useless. To go through the actual minutia of what would happen would not be on the scale of weeks. It would be on the scale of, years. Because actually, a lot of governments do have a lot of emergency preparations. And there are generators that are not dependent on, digital technology. So I understand the want to write a story in this vein, but you can't just say, and then the next week there was rioting and everyone was shooting each other in the streets. It's in some areas. It's
a Harlem Shake apocalypse. Everybody's just chilling out. The music's going, and then suddenly a cyber strike, and everybody's going crazy.
I unironically love the Harlem Shake.
I bet.
It's, want to know why? Because it is the great equalizer of the dance floor. And for the brief year that song was on fucking every DJ list, no matter who you are, no matter how successful you are, no matter how hot you are, the Harlem Shake drops and everyone just does goofy shit and it doesn't fucking matter. And that was beautiful.
Abysmii was the John Travolta of the Harlem Shake out on the dance floor. And then
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, anyone can floss as well. That doesn't make it an okay thing.
Because the floss is one singular dance. The Harlem Shake is literally anything. It's creative.
It's crunking, basically.
Crumping. If you look at the classical idea of what dance is, the Harlem Shake doesn't qualify as a dance. It just doesn't qualify as a dance.
In Western civilization, a dance has always been relegated to one man and one woman and what they were doing together. And the Harlem Shake is just it is the unfortunate postmodern communist socialist influence on Western culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Shapiro's separated at birth cousin Ben Juilliard. I don't know what the fuck.
So we get the Civil Wars, right? And this is what we call the Great Harlem Shakes.
The Great Harlem Shake-Up.
Mm-hmm.
I had some notion of just how bad it was a couple of nights after the strike. In the cities, people for the first time had a clear view of the night sky once the fires had died down. It was total blackness.
Everybody in the city was like, my God, there are millions of lights in the sky. What does this mean?
What the fuck is the sky? Oh my God.
We've got to kill each other for these new gods.
We went outside onto the roof and watched the shooting stars, except they were anything but. They were shooting missiles. They were debris from satellites re-entering and burning up.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I may have to ask Paprika about this.
Paprika, have you ever fallen into the atmosphere and burned up?
Would satellites' orbits decay automatically because I think I don't know if they send satellites up and then have them automatically reorienting to remain in geosynchronous orbit, or if they're just kind of up there. Because there's a shit ton of debris in Earth's orbit right now. There's a lot of space trash.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to ask about that. But anyway.
Space trash is my favorite science fiction. It's my favorite sci-fi channel show.
You know what? Space trash is going to be the lazy industrial album you and I are going to make. So
there you go.
Keep that in mind.
Lazy Industrial Album, I think should be the name of the band. Name our band after an album. It's been 2 years now, and I can't exactly say things have returned to normal. Food is still rationed since distribution was the hardest part of the infrastructure to recover, and such fictions as money and credit no longer mean anything. Now we collect Beanie Babies finally?
Yeah, just. That's the new currency. This story started with, what did you do in the Great Cyberwar, Daddy? And it's like, it's been 2 years.
So I've been sitting on my ass trying to figure out how to relearn chess.
What did you do in the Cyberwar, Daddy? And by the end of the story, it's like, you walk into the broken down building and wait, total shift of narration here.
In any Cyberwar, in any country.
Walk into a supermarket and say, the cyber stikes have begun.
Give up all your Harlem Shakes. This is a Harlem Shakedown.
Harlem Shake machine broke, sorry. It all turned, now it's present tense. It's all turned very old school Soviet. With a command economy where the military is the backbone, complete with uncooperative people being put into labor camps, and everyone being assigned work whether they like it or not. That's what it is now. No work, no eat. That's what it is now. It turns out...
If the Democrats can, if they're going to come in here with their cyber stikes, and they're going to make everybody...
God damn it. They're turning the cybers stiked. What? That doesn't make any sense.
They're going to rain satellites from orbit.
So this is just kind of it's so weird to hear someone say, like, no, it was like a command economy. It's just like, but you just learned what the term command economy means, so you put it in. And it's like, I don't like that.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let me keep reading. Maybe you're wrong about that. Okay. Everyone used logical fallacies, and Occam's razor was out the window. Schrodinger's cat was... Nah, God damn it. It's just all things
Someone
you
used
learned.
Occam's razor against Schrodinger's cat, and it was ugly.
Godwin's law became the law of the land. What?
And once the Overton window broke, there was no going back.
No work, no eat. It turns out that things like human rights take a back seat when your stomach is empty. That's... Okay, Star Trek. That's pretty much literally a thing from Star Trek.
Yeah. This is the problem. Like, all of this setup has been done so many times. And again, I don't want to discourage people from writing from this angle, but you really, especially with science fiction, and this is more science fiction than horror at this point, you have to be cognizant of the pre-established literature before you to not just have people like us who are at least... like, at the very least, have a familiar passing, be like, this is Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this is based in any way on that Star Trek episode. It's just that I think of that, and then I think of how cool that scene was. Because you've got an alien telling another alien how humans are, and saying, all their sense of morality and dignity is gone the minute their stomachs are empty. And it's like, God damn, that's true, like,
right.
Fuck. A lot of criminals, quote-unquote, are still being summarily executed by firing squad. What are we, some kind of firing squad? They just shoot a villain in the fucking face. That's the end of the movie.
It's just the other side of the Suicide Squad movie.
Yes.
Birds of Prey was meh, but I don't care how bad Suicide Squad 2 is. I'm gonna fucking see it.
It looks like it will at least be better because
okay.
It's not taking itself seriously. But
then that's all I really want.
John Cena looks like it's just got a cast of like that tells me that it's going to be a shitpost, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
By the way, if there are any wealthy oil tycoons listening to this, please give us the money so we can produce, like, the firing squad and all our other strange, stupid ideas.
As a series of YouTube shorts for $50.
Sure. It could just be the cast of Suicide Squad, and it's just like, well, we can't let them out, and they just shoot them both down. And then the rest of the movie is just wordlessly one dude taking them and putting them onto a wheelbarrow.
Yes. Oh, God. By firing squad, after brief tribunal hearings. Meanwhile, the political arguments rage about what to do with the now totally insolvent and bankrupt financial system. How do you know this without any form of media?
I have taken back the system for the people.
I'm trying to think
There's
who that is.
There's the money here? What are you doing here?
This is basically the third Batman movie.
Okay.
Kinda.
That's right, it's Bane. Fucking hell. With a majority calling for a year zero plan of debt and asset cancellation. Okay, year zero, don't call it that if you're gonna... Don't brand it that way.
Fucking, Nine Inch Nails is about to sue.
Well, I was just thinking, Pol Potter and the year of the zero. The minority who were rich and vehemently... Wait, the minority who were rich are vehemently disagreeing. Who cares? They're not rich anymore. Elsewhere, that question is being settled by gunfire in the streets, bankers hanging from lampposts, and revolutions. At least we have avoided that for now. How do you know this is happening with no media?
That's the problem. It's, hey, Grandpa, what did you do? Well, I had an omniscient perspective on everything, so I know this. And this would have been more interesting if it was actually just what my struggles were that first week. But now it's just kind of, hey, Grandpa, I know you're a third-party omniscient, so tell me everything, which we don't need.
Could you imagine this being like, on the third day, someone came through town that nobody had seen before. He told us about how in, such and such city they were hanging bankers from lampposts and blah, blah, blah. Then it's like, oh, okay. This is, wow, okay. This guy's seen some shit. Things are worse than we thought out in the wider world. But, I don't know.
I would say that this story looks like it's going to be entirely just world building with we're not going to get attached to a character. So all we're doing is world building.
Yeah.
So the world building actually has to serve some sort of purpose, and I
feel
long
like enough to do that.
I feel like it's supposed to serve some sort of pseudo political message, but it's not
Not really.
I mean, I can
not-
tell you exactly what this is.
What is
Well,
it?
it's the chain continues.
This is Zoomer meets Boomer. This is anti-capitalist online rhetoric.
Not even.
Well, I was going to say,
Because this isn't like the ills of capitalism destroyed our world. No, this is just all electronics shut off, and so we couldn't, the banks were scratching their heads.
Okay,
this isn't
so
even that.
this is Zoomer meets Boomer because it's an anti-capitalist screed through the lens of millennials be texting. Once your phones go down, you're all going to go crazy and murder each
I
other.
don't think it's that deep. I think it's just what if technology shut down? Yes, these other things would happen because not enough of it is, and then all the bankers, and then all of the military-industrial complex, and then there's not enough in here to really be a screed. It's kind of just an observation.
But it's not consistent either, because it's just and then the rich, and it's just but money is made up, and there's no system, so there is no rich.
Right.
What do you mean by rich? This guy has a bunch more rabbit pelts than everyone else? What the fuck?
You know what? In the post-apocalypse, we no longer use currency. The people in power are just the people with the most boats. It's the same problem. It's the same people. Damn it.
All right, wait. So we're switching this up. We're going to get rid of the whole money thing and the boat thing. Now, whoever's the richest is who has been the most predator to children. Oh shit!
Same exact people. Damn it.
It turns out there was a cabal with Satan-worshipping pedophiles at the top, and they were...
Once everything came down, I went to investigate, and there totally was a basement. As someone said, it was like World War III, but without the nukes. As someone said, who said?
And was there a World War III? Because if not, this was World War III.
I mean, basically, all armies are grounded because no one can fly or sail giant-ass boats. No one can launch nukes or drone strikes, so I guess everyone's just fighting each other.
All armies are grounded, and they're just up in their room playing video games, yeah.
That would be an interesting idea of sort of traditional agrarian communist launch a Ted Kaczynski-esque solar flare thing that shuts everything offline, but then you would have to tell the story from that character's perspective of I need to get people back toiling on the field.
Again, that would be a more intimate, personal story, and this is just the overarching view that this grandpa somehow knows about.
Because if it was some sort of eco-communist terrorist who's just I'm going to return man to the soil and have him toil for his food again, that would be pretty based.
Well, we don't know where the cyber strikes came from. We think, I would assume that's international war, which would make this World War III.
I get the feeling it's like a Skynet thing.
Maybe.
I think the only reason that something like this would happen is if there was a solar flare or a man-made solar flare by people who don't want there to be technology.
How do you
it's got to be
a solar flare? I guess
No.
a gigantic EMP.
Yeah, but the idea of a giant EMP for the purpose of unibombing people back into the Dark Ages.
It would be universe bombing? Would that be it?
Universal bombing income? Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What they're not telling you about UPI.
But enough about Reagan funneling money to terrorist groups. What do we want to go on here?
For those nations that had civil defense planning, which most did not, it was either too little too late by being geared by local natural disasters such as earthquakes, or too little being geared towards an expectation that most people would be dead and hence not a problem. So what happened? Nobody knows, but for some reason. If they do not do it, has not been made official public knowledge. However, enough information has leaked that we have a good idea of the sequence of events.
How is it leaking?
From where? And there is no mass media. If not, maybe that's why they launched this giant EMP. They wanted to get rid of the MSM, if not exactly who did what or where to assign the blame.
What if you had a story where there's an apocalyptic event and everything goes to shit and people are trying to get out of the country and they go, like, across the border to Canada or Mexico, wherever you want, from America, and everything is fine there, and people are just like, wait a minute, you came from America? Get back in there. We're trying to get rid of you. Get out of here. There's no apocalypse anywhere else. It's just every country in the world saying, alright, time to get rid of America. Get back down there, eh? Sorry.
Ooh, sorry. Sorry we had to bomb you.
Yeah. Ours was that bomb that didn't work. That was our contribution. Sorry.
We just dropped a bunch of maple syrup on you.
Yeah. You know that bomb that had a moose riding it in a cowboy hat? What?
No, it'd be a Mountie hat.
Mm.
A moose dressed as a Mountie.
I have no idea why, but I assume that Canada has never launched a nuke. So.
Did they have any?
Yeah. Do they have a navy? I think they don't have a navy, do they?
Can they afford any? What do they export? Maple syrup?
Maple syrup and black face paint.
That's what I'm gonna do.
No, they import that.
When I can go,
Yes.
when I can go to a bar again, and be like, "Hey, I'm a vampire hunter / Canadian navyman,
Navy seaman, Canadian seaman.
Yeah.
Canadian seaman."
That sounds like a what does that sound like? A 1980s thriller?
Yeah, but hold on. I need to look this up. Canadian. I love how we're doing anything other than reading a story. Canadian Navy.
Oh.
Royal Canadian Navy is the naval force of
That's
Canada. Blah blah blah. So there is one, but
That's bullshit.
it's
made
probably embarrassingly
fake news.
small.
It's just some guy named Dave.
Hey Dave, you out in the water again? Oh yeah.
You're out in the water again, Dave. How you doing?
Oh, I came up with some groundbreaking research. Oh, what's that, Dave? Geez, it's so fantastic. I found a way to make face paint, black face paint, waterproof.
God damn it.
Excellent.
They're never going to see me coming from under the water. It's going to be great.
Hey, Dave, how you doing out there? Oh, wow, this water here goes out for kilometers and kilometers. Wow, how many? I don't know, a lot. Oh, man, it keeps going. Wow, it's a lot of water out here.
Dave, where's your boat, Dave? Oh, I don't know. I left it back ashore.
God damn it.
Why is he slowly becoming Irish?
Because I can't. It's funny. My father's side is incredibly
Canadian
Midwest.
Irish.
No, they're incredibly Midwest. So unless I'm focusing really hard on it, I can't maintain a fucking Midwest Canadian accent. Sucks.
That's his one weakness.
Oh, that's his one weakness.
It's
Not
Also, I've been
alcohol.
drinking, so fuck it.
Batman is like, do you bleed? And Abysmii's like, I don't know. Why? Batman says, do a Canadian accent.
Shit.
Gotcha, fucker.
French toast? Fuck.
French toast.
That's France.
Why did you say French toast? My breakfast was
That
French
was
toast.
Martha's favorite breakfast food.
Yes.
My mommy made me French toast.
She called it eggy bread.
Oh, we're gonna finish this fucking story.
Yes.
Do we have to?
Yes.
No?
We haven't even gotten to the zombies.
Do we care?
All right, whose turn is it?
Does it matter?
I think it's your turn still, right?
Uh-oh.
No, I think it's Slimebeast's turn.
Yeah, no, it is.
All right. It started as some kind of tit for tat, three-way, petty, tit for tat, three-way. It's my favorite movie. Petty annoyance that began between the USA, Russia, and China with targeted attacks across the net on infrastructure such as electricity generation during some trade disputes amid accusations of hacking. So it's World War III. The problem that became apparent was that it was almost impossible to locate the origin of the attacks, so certain assumptions were made. The most crucial one being that only major state actors were involved. I don't know what an actor is, but it was later determined that this was not true. How? How did you determine who the cyber strikes came from if you have no computers and electricity?
Just keep going, whatever.
The most crucial one being that only major state actors were involved. It was later determined that this was not true, although who or what was acting as agent provocateur is still not clear. Guy Fawkes.
China. Fucking China.
Chinese Guy Fawkes. Some dumb Guy Fawkes. Fuck.
Or Chinese Ted Kaczynski.
Chinese Ted Kaczynski. Fucking hell. At least that's the story. Conspiracy nuts are split on this. either it being a cover-up by quote-unquote them, meaning our quote-unquote secret government, aka NWO, aka Illuminati, aka the Wiggles, what? Okay, etc., or it was a global
global conspiracy.
Or global conspiracy.
I like the idea.
In China, you want to say?
I like the idea of making it an actual rule that when we run into phrasing like this, we have to finish out as Eastern European or whatever.
Yeah, you have to finish. Yeah, you really. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it finishing out.
Yeah,
because you have to turn Finnish.
Sure. Or it was a global conspiracy of organized crime of the James Bond variety. I have seen James Bond. Their movies are very popular here. Most people just think it's an excuse to dodge blame, or at least not point the finger at someone with nukes still ready to go. Others suggest factions within the quote-unquote rogue nations, or even casual hackers and griefers. Griefers, is this Minecraft?
Wow.
Suddenly, millions of kilotons of TNT spawned in America.
Creepers were everywhere.
Yeah.
He's going to report. This is so. We're just imagining this whole thing looks like Rust now, right?
Sure. Others suggest factions within rogue nations or even casual hackers and griefers who just got a bit too lucky. If the latter is true, they are keeping a very low profile, i.e. shitting themselves. Or, more likely...
Who's going to go after them? And how?
Yeah. Or, more likely, once the audit trails were reconstructed, they found themselves quietly dead. I guess they got the computers and electricity back up and running, so whatever.
So if the net is supposed to be something other than what the internet is in real life, that needs to be specified, because I can't tell whether it's supposed to be the internet or like a Skynet kind of thing.
Or is it like an intranet now, because they didn't want it ever to be hacked again from outside entities? I feel like as much background as we're getting, we actually don't have a very firm timeline.
Wake up, Choom. We have a world to cyberstike. Okay.
I'm cyber psyched to read the rest of this. A number of other factories massively exacerbated.
Nope. Sorry.
They were cyberstike factories.
Mm-hmm.
A number of other factors massively exacerbated the situation. The most serious was that all the major security agencies hoarded computers' vulnerabilities for their own use instead of collaborating with the industry to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
What industry? The power is out. Is the power back?
I don't know. Maybe
the Universal Technology Infrastructure, or UTI.
The second factor was unavoidable. It was the use of artificial intelligence as a war fighting tool. I love how it says in parentheses, AI, in case you didn't know.
Right.
Because it was unexpected that humans could not respond fast enough beyond a certain threshold, there was a trigger point classified where...
Is this just going to start being redacted as we go? Is it changing formats completely?
From now on, things will be classified when I don't feel like writing them.
Damn it. Boy, you just summarized SCP completely.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. That's yeah. Oh, I'm just trying to take in how fucking based what I just said was.
Shit.
Oh shit. There was a war became automated. Wars changed. The AIs from that point on had permission not only to defend by whatever means necessary, or even launch their own attacks, but were also allowed to choose their targets based on what they were learning as the war unfolded. Yeah, okay. We were changing, how the war happened based on factors.
Is this Cyberstrike 1986 or whenever War Games came out?
The Cyberstike of 86.
The Cyberstike.
God.
This child has been Cyberstiked of 86.
You can't keep getting away with it. China hacked our lovable animatronics. Had them start biting our kids.
Oh my god, that would be an awesome, if you're gonna do a bootleg ripoff Five Nights at Freddy's movie, that would be fucking hilarious. Rogue Nation has hacked all the animatronics in America.
Since they screwed me out of the election, Trump, I'm going to be directing the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Does he just say his name like a Pokemon? Trump.
He does because I can't do a Trump impression.
Nope, double. I want you to draw 5 nights of Cyber Stakes, please.
Yeah, figure it out.
I don't know what that looks like, but do it.
No, so this is so inane. The third factor was a political decision. That's what I need to know. I need to know if there is electricity and things that, like, it's just like, yeah, power went out for 24 hours and it was hard.
Well,
we descended into anarchy. The power came back on an hour later.
This is just a conspiracy pasta. This is just what if technology gone because rogue AI or whatever, and it's
also all of it's wrong though.
Well, when
all of it's factually
all of it's
wrong.
Implausible because not enough research went into it. So, and it's a little insidious because it starts out with "Grandpa, tell me a story." Well. Yeah. And then just turns into third-party omniscient, which Grandpa would never fucking know unless Grandpa is an all-knowing AI. And if that's the reveal at the end, cool. Still not an entertaining story.
No,
someone screaming.
You're missing the point. Even it says at the beginning, Daddy, what's happened during the cyber strike? And then we fast forward to 2 years later. That's when this is taking place in present time, is 2 years later. This child was there for the cyber strike.
Oh.
On his cyber trike.
So was this kid just like 2 years old and doesn't remember and is asking this question? It doesn't make any sense. The third factor was a political decision taken long before all of this happened by at least one participant. It came out to be known as the last man standing doctrine. Oh, you mean the doctrine of mutually assured destruction? Or...
whatever.
I would like to say I do like the idea of a story where things descend into chaos because all technology, electricity, no longer functions through some kind of weird anomaly. Everything goes chaotic, everything turns really bad, everything's really horrible, and right at the peak, the climax of terror and destruction, the electricity just goes back on, and then you just have the end of the story be about, well, I'm watching Netflix now, but I can't get out of my mind what I did to get that guava.
No,
I'm watching WandaVision, and I can't forget those screaming faces of those people.
I want to make memes and jokes about WandaVision, but I have seen zero of it and don't understand any of it, so I can't do anything about that.
I think that premise, though, of like, hey, look how quickly man descends back into, crazy anarchy, and it's like,
sure.
That's a perfectly fine premise, but that's not what the premise of this thing is.
It's a tried and true sci-fi post-apocalypse premise, but this has been done so many times and in better researched ways that I can't help but read this and just go, no.
It was a Twilight Zone episode, I think, based on like the Salem witch trials or something, but it was a modern day thing where everything stopped working, and so it was a small town over 24 hours where they were like, not literally, but it devolved to things like, why is Joe's lawnmower working? Nothing else is working. Joe must have done this. Kill him, that type of thing.
Which again is a much more like intimate, personal story, not just, and then this happened with this nation, and then there were civil wars across the eastern seaboard. Like, how the fuck do you know? Why
is Jamaica's lawnmowers working?
They don't have lawns. All they have is sand.
Wow, rude.
This is Jamaican lawnmower man.
They have plenty of grass. What are you talking about?
This story is like listening to Jawas from Star Wars recite their species history.
This is like listening to Daddy telling a story about the war.
This is like reading the Wikipedia. Fucking boring.
And then Solid Snake, he put on an infinite bandana.
Wait, what? Is that a real thing?
It encircled his entire being forever.
Oh my god. Slimebeast's ignorance on putting on the infinite bandana is hilarious to me.
Infinite bandana. I like that idea.
I also don't know about the infinite bandana, so
really?
Sorry. I never played Metal Gear, I'm sorry.
No, this is a thing that canonically happens because reality is descending into madness. It's so cool.
Listen, DP, listen. The two of us haven't played Guilty Gear. We don't know.
What the fuck is Guilty Gear?
Who's your Guilty Gear waifu?
The fuck is Guilty Gear? I don't know.
I know the name.
It's like Persona. I know the name. I know nothing about that game.
Who's your favorite Persona gear? Who's your favorite guilty persona?
Optimus Prime.
As a Creepypasta?
Fucking hell. No.
This basically said that the winners would be the nations which did not take part in the war. Since AIs were directed to win the war, this meant they instantly escalated to non-combatants in order to make sure that there was no last man standing anywhere on Earth.
Okay.
What?
I don't know.
All right.
I'm just...
Whatever.
So mutually assured destruction. We have a term for this. It's not last man standing.
What is it?
Of research.
Repeatedly, and to much official denial from all parties, even allies were targeted. Within minutes, attacks were launched across Asia, Europe, and Latin America before any humans knew what was happening. And even the Overwatch servers went down. And each side...
Apparently Rust's European servers died in a fire.
And each side assumed one of the other was knowingly responsible. The predicted response was that a lot of petty players joined the fight.
It is Overwatch.
Later muddied the waters further as they used it as an opportunity to settle scores the traditional way, with military forces and a series of real wars across most of the politically unstable regions of the world.
I just want to remind everybody, earlier in the story, the character said this was like World War III, but without the nukes. It both is World War III, and apparently there are nukes. Okay.
In addition, in previous such incidents, neither side used either their best weapons. Stuxnet accepted. No,
Okay.
should I know what Stuxnet is?
Okay.
Or all of them simultaneously. Nor did they attack with the aim of doing maximum permanent damage.
Okay, so no nukes.
At this point, much of the net was still functioning because all sides needed it for offensive operations, like nukes.
Wait,
but at about an hour...
Didn't they say the net went down shortly after?
No, they brought it back up at some point because AI was formatted to only be blah, blah, blah. Like,
But yes, but they never mention this, and the story just proceeds without, explicitly telling you, no, there's AI, but there's no power.
Well, then this is the problem. Like, a bunch of hackers just completely destroyed the internet. How? There's backups. And
Have you heard
firewalls.
of the infamous internet hacker 4chan?
Like, the net is not something that you can just hack into oblivion unless you blow up every fucking computer in the world,
And
which
yet-
would be a solar flare, not hackers.
And yet you can hack Oblivion.
You can hack oblivion.
I like the idea, though. This is my headcanon for this. This is all being read word for word and performed by Morpheus in The Matrix as he's talking to Neo about what happened to the world.
Neo's eyes are just glazed
Yes.
over. Oh my god, stop talking.
Instead of, we don't know whether it was the machines or humans who scorched the sky, or whatever he says. Instead of that, he's like, the machines had a protocol called Sky Scorch, in which they would scorch the sky if there were too many countries that were at war with each other.
Oh
Latin
my
America
god, shut up. Shut up. Can I just learn Kung Fu already? Oh my god, I'm so bored.
I really want a hamburger.
I'm literally a hacker. This doesn't make any sense, what you're saying.
Nobody look into the fact that my character, Johnny Silverhand, is a lot like my character, Johnny Mnemonic, from a movie of the same name.
Blah, blah, blah. A war, an inflection point occurred where the AIs decided defense should be primary and net connections were severed. Some of them physically by explosives that had been pre-placed on undersea cables. China feared somewhat better with its Great Firewall, or as I like to call it, the Great China Firewall. But in truth, it was leaky, and offensive operations into China continued. Elsewhere, it made almost no difference, other than taking civilian computers offline. Even as nations were trying to isolate themselves, a second wave of attacks emerged from the Internet of Things, IoT. Devices that had been suborned into botnets weeks, months, or in some cases years in the past, later jokingly referred to as the attack of the toasters and made some isolation tactics pointless. I am so lost and I don't care.
I agree with past Abysmii that we should have stopped reading.
Sometimes my gut reactions are right.
Alright, so here's my turn. On all sides, then some competing nations, according to intelligence analysts, at this point, control had been lost simultaneously in at least two nations, although they apparently continued global net connections by completing nations and corporations began, or who was operating them. This decision occurred, nations only attacked in their own assets. What? Can you tell the difference, audience, between that and the real? On all sides, by 2 hours into the war, military forces were on standby and politicians... This is 2 hours in? We're on standby and politicians were being briefed on the developments.
Yeah, 2 hours into the 2 years war.
Now, this is at some point in time later that has not been prefaced.
2 hours into year 2 of the timeless war, we found...
2 years into the timeless war, I had to take a bathroom break. When I returned, the war was just beginning.
I had to make a cyber stike. Then some
For
of
the first time since the cyber stike, I had to crank one out. All right, and the power was down.
I suggest we rush through this. Then some of the tens of thousands of low-orbit comsats that provided cheap global net... whatever.
Comsat.
That provided cheap global net connections by competing nations and corporations began to go dark. That is, although they apparently continued to route traffic according to intelligence analysts, control had been lost and nobody knew exactly what they were doing or who was operating them. At this point, this is like what you say in front of a government panel to bore the congressman and run out your time.
This is your filibuster?
Yeah. At this point, at least 2 fateful decisions were made. The first was to order all non-military comsats shut down for the duration. The second was to hit those that failed to do so with anti-satellite missiles. This decision...
No, I'm trying to get to the core of this, Mr. Facebook.
We're past it.
Mr. Facebook, we're trying to get to the core of why you just thought it was a good idea to sell off all this information. Yes, the comsats and
the comblats and the Brampton Brats of Vermail.
Guys, why is this on the Creepypasta wiki?
It's not.
What is
it? Oh, wait, no, you're right. It is. Sorry, I thought we were on the horror network.
Abysmii got real-time cyber-stiked in his neural net.
Okay, well, why is the Raven on the Creepypasta wiki? Because you can put fucking anything on it. That's why.
No, but why is this... Put Sonic.exe back. Why is this
right?
Yeah.
I've made a decision. I'm going to run for office. I'm going to run for senator or house rep. I'm going to get there, and I'm going to filibuster... I don't care on what, but I'm going to read all of I'm going to read all of Godzilla NES.
There you go.
And just to fuck with people and see what happens.
What's he saying about the Reds? This decision occurred almost simultaneously in at least 2 nations. There was one good thing that prevented the war from turning traditional hot. Nations only attacked their own assets. Okay, so let's just get through this, huh?
No, that's bullshit. They already fucking were attacking each other hotly.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
They were hot-tacking each other.
That provided a breathing space long enough for human political establishment to talk over what remained of the secure comm links through mostly landlines and geosyncs, which was just as well because a few hours into the missiles were launched and taken to the hack sites, and the Cuban Missile Crisis was more than starting to disintegrate as raiders did the Kessel Run, and the debris destroyed the satellites in low orbit, hitting others, breaking them apart, and so on. Low orbit orbital beams were used to clear out the functioning systems of the ever-expanding cloud strife. The most despicable thing, this Despicable Me, the expensive fireworks show in history, hostilities in Sicily, ceased 24 hours. The damage was immense, and the net was severely fragmented, and most of its bandwidth disappeared for years. Nobody is going to be putting new satellites into shotguns and blasting them into the sweeping planets. The major problem was getting electricity grids working in a stable. In some places, this took weeks. A non-Travago thing started hacking continental grids from scratch, and highly volatile Travago started restarting the global economy. Damaged Beyonce was the worst recession or depression.
Damaged Beyonce sounds like an anime character.
Sounds like the Creepypasta OC.
Yeah. Damaged Beyonce.
Plus, the electricity was available for parts of the net came with Netscape. Attacks from dormant, fragmented botnets would flare up, and most distributable denial of Shorvish shots, flailing around a nonsensical targets ate up the bandwidth and time, just like we're doing right now, eating up your precious time. Tracked down and eliminated, meanwhile, just about every business on the planet was technically bankrupt. Total cost to date, estimated 50 million dead, 40 trillion, 50 million.
That's it.
That number is a little high.
Okay, so guys, do not scroll down. I'm trusting you to not scroll down. Okay.
I did.
God.
Do not scroll down.
Damn.
I already did. I already read. I was bored, so I read beneath. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, so this story, we were trying to figure out who it was written by. First comment says, written by Dirkbruere.
Only comment.
Research and development scientist and engineer, occultist, transhumanist, martial artist, and asatru. Zero state.
R&D scientist where?
For the net.
Yeah.
Cyberstike Industries, a botnet corporation, in association with Dark Web.
I was gonna make another joke, and then I lost it, because whatever.
I was gonna make another joke, but then I lost it.
It estimated cost 40 trillion damage after, no one would fucking bother with money.
We're done with that story.
This has been the Fear Fiction Podcast. Your hosts are Abysmii, Dead Palette, and Slimebeast. Music by Abysmii. Art by C.F. Comer. Voiceover by Atticus Jackson. Edited by Elias the Intern. Subscribe to Fearfic on YouTube to stay up to date on new episodes.
Tired of boring pranks like harassing people with snail mail glitter bombs? Ordering 20 deluxe pizzas to a doxed internet enemy outdated?
Pizza time.
Can't get your kicks with swatting popular streamers?
FBI, open up!
Try Toxbox. Toxbox delivers suspiciously unsuspicious packages to the addresses of your foes that look like normal gamer powder supplements, but they're absolutely lethal when ingested. Toxbox offers premium, all-natural, easily traceable poisons and toxins. While easy to detect, our services are untraceable. All our boxes guarantee the safety and security of our customers. Send someone you hate one of these delicious, deadly flavors. Blissful befouled blueberry, yummy venom vanilla, luscious laced lavender, ambrosial adulterated apple, succulent spiked strawberry, and our classic pleasurable poison pineapple. But our products are ever shifting and growing to outsmart the dumbest people on the internet that you hate. Someone start drama with you? Send them a Toxbox. Someone you don't like have too much clout? Send them a Toxbox. Someone like a video game that you don't within earshot? Send them a Toxbox. We also offer Dox Toxbox. We'll dox those dirty bastards for you. Doxing and killing has never been easier. To get started with your Toxbox or Dox Toxbox order, go to fbi.gov, click the Report a Crime button, and be sure to enter your name, address, date of birth, social security number, and fill out the ways in which you would like to kill that mean person on the internet. Toxbox and Dox Toxbox, because the people you don't agree with deserve death.
See if I can find...
Googly eyes, absolutely love them. Stick them on everything. Stick them on your mom. Stick them on your cow.
Stick them on your cease and desist letter. Mail them to people.
Trying to figure out the difference between your mom and a cow. Ooh, burn.
Damn,
I
son.
couldn't tell the difference because they both had googly eyes on them.
That's
giant
true.
udders.
Your mom has googly eyes. What?
What?
Excuse me? What? Yeah, so, hey, Darkest Dungeon, you ever hear of that game?
Oh, here we go.
DP, have you heard of Darkest Dungeon?
I have not.
Darkest Dungeon is a game where you control a little group of 4 little adventurers as you go fighting skeletons and oogie boogies and all kinds of weirdy-doos. And you go fighting them and they fight you back, and it's supposed to be it's 2-dimensional, side-scrolly, not like a platformer or anything, but in terms of how the gameplay plays out, based on combat instances where a group of 4 enemies, pop up and shit like that. And it's supposed to be, I guess, a little Dark Souls-y in, the difficulty level. So,
XCOM.
Say what?
The game you're looking for is XCOM.
XCOM, okay.
It's a rogue. It's a roguelike.
Sure. But Darkest Dungeon's supposed to be a little bit like a fucking Darkest Dungeon, like Dark Souls, in terms of difficulty. But God fucking damn it. Let me just set it on the fucking easiest setting and turn off all the shit that you have on it that's supposed to fuck me over, and let me not insta-lose characters before I have a turn. It's like, Jesus Christ, game.
This is a rogue. This is a roguelike.
Yeah, but like, let's say, okay, picture 4 people standing together. I don't know, picture 4 of your family members. Picture, whatever. And you and your 4...
Throw them in a dungeon.
Your 4
Kill
family
them.
members are walking along. They're just walking along about their day. They're down at, I don't know, they're going through Costco, whatever, pushing a shopping cart. Suddenly, up in front of them pop, 4 undead skeleton Costco workers, right? Okay? You love your family. You've spent all this time with them. You've ranked them up. You've gotten them all sorts of cool gifts and things to help them out in life. Like your sister has like a bloodied severed head that gives her more attack damage, things like that. And before your family even gets to do anything, 2 of these skeletons crit your Aunt Enid and she fucking dies before your first turn.
Yes.
Wouldn't that make you angry? Wouldn't that make you angry?
No, because I know what I'm getting into.
It's your aunt in Costco. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what you're getting into.
You never played Costco Simulator?
Double, make Costco Simulator.
Make the game.
Build a game.
Learn
to code double. Learn to code double.
Yes,
Seriously.
do it. Fucking goddamn. All I'm saying is that Darkest Dungeon I really like. It has almost like a Hellboy kind of style, like if you were to explain it to somebody who has seen Hellboy comics. It has a very good aesthetic.
Better if it was just Yu-Gi-Oh.
I bet. Very good aesthetic, very good artwork. It's very cool looking, it's very interesting, and you start playing it thinking you're going to have a good time, and then you do not have a good time.
You are not meant to keep all of your characters.
I would like to have Aunt Enid able to at least do like one bitch slap before she gets double teamed by a pair of venomous spiders,
But then you're just going to say,
awesome.
well, I only got one bitch slap in with Aunt Enid. I wanted at least 2, and that's not how the game works.
Well, it would at least also give me the chance to, leave the fight. To back out. But yeah, Darkest Dungeon. If you like abuse, if you have Stockholm Syndrome, I would suggest it.
If you like XCOM or any other roguelike, very obvious, time-tested game, then yeah, you'll like it.
Nobody plays XCOM, Abysmii.
Well, Abysmii likes, what is that game? Eldritch, so he has bad taste.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're wrong. Game is amazing.
Abysmii likes 2 things. Roguelikes and Honey Pop. If they had a sexually explicit harem game that was a roguelike, he'd be all over that. We'd never
if
see
Honey
it again.
Pop 3 is a roguelike, I may just combust, because that would be amazing.
He would combust, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have sex with a person, they die.
Abysmii, can we get you to just tweet out, I'm gonna combust? C-U-M-B-U-S-T.
I'm gonna combust.
Wait for this gin to hit, and then ask me again.
Okay.
I will think it's a better idea in about 30 minutes.